Hey, welcome back to Monster Gaming. I'm in Central Mass, and we actually have a snow day today. It's probably our first decent size snowstorm that's still in progress. So I figured since I had some time, I might as well knock out a couple videos. Now, I did mention some topics, I think, in the last video that I wanted to talk about, but I am going to save those because I actually had a larger topic that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, I can um, portray it clearly or concisely or something. Um, but there's two main ways to play the game in a strategy sense. You can either make your city a catering city, which means you have really, really good economy to kind of help you out with your tech tree advancement, helping out other people in the fellowship, and you're very well aware of like your productivity. Now, you can do hybrid, of course, you can do all kinds of different things, but the other option is being very army driven, where you're constantly, upgrading your troops. You're keeping an eye that your armories are high level, your barracks is high level, your training grounds are high level, and that you're also picking the ancient wonders that are going to help you with that. Now, I did play Forge of Empires. That one feels a little bit different. That one's kind of pushing you to be more attack heavy. The PvP is interesting there and things like that. I primarily play my games on my phone or my tablet. And when you play Elvenar on your tablet and you go to fight, there's no actual fight sequence that happens. Basically, you have this here, and you can hit fight or negotiate, and it auto concludes the fight. Now, if you're playing on a PC, on a browser, then yes, you will have a very nice grid combat system, which is very similar to games from back in the day, like Heroes of Might and Magic, and things kind of like that, which I always really appreciate. I like that. The one of Forge of Empires is a much bigger map, moving your forces all over the place. Neither of them is bad. I don't think any of them is bad. But because this game in particular is not really targeted to fighting, it's not like the centerpiece of it. And on mobile, it basically auto fights anyways. And it's a slower paced game, etc. I very quickly chose to be more of a catering city where I can make sure that I have enough goods and things producing, because I find that when you're trying to level up, you're trying to go through the tech tree, and you're trying to fulfill different things, even in the fellowship adventures, you're going to need a lot of resources in the game. This is a very high resource game. You're going to need it all the time. Even when you're going up the Spire of Eternity, you're going to need them. So I instantly felt the pinch of I need to make sure I have enough resources because it's really going to bottleneck me. Second to space in the game, it's also resources. Resources will stop you from completing things or moving at a reasonable rate. So I'm just going to negotiate here. Actually, you know what? So so I do have troops. I do have armies. I do level things up on the tech tree, but I don't really focus on it. I haven't leveled up some of those things in a while. Every now and again, I will go to the fight here, especially if it's easy, very easy. I have troops to spare because I hardly ever use them, and it's nice. Some will say that it is good to fight periodically because the only good that you spend making armies is your tools. So, versus when I'm negotiating here, I'm going to be spending three different resources, and you'll see some of these are very hard to come by. So, when possible, I will fight here. It tells you their strength. Let's see. I'll do that. Do some archers. Do that. Do that. That should be good. Wow, that's a long battle there. That's fine. Back to province, and like I mentioned in the previous video, this is a easy way to get relics, also easy way to get knowledge points. You get ranking points too. And on the left here, it says you need 3 more provinces to get an expansion for your city. So it's also a really good way to expand your province, expand your city, sorry, is uncovering more of the map. So sometimes that's a good way to go. And then I got another scroll relic and then some runes. So this is a good way to get runes too for your ancient wonders. So that has been completed. So let me unlock or have them work on that. Oops, sorry. All right. So I'm just going to go back in here, produce, and you can see that I have people training. I usually have people training every day. I do keep an eye on my tools just to see, how much I need. Let's see. Okay. So this one is built in about 51 minutes, about 1044 is the cost. So it's very straightforward. You want army people, you got to spend tools. Same with these. 1044. Cool. And then you can unlock like other slots as you upgrade. You can see what troops you have available. Armory tells you that affects your army size, of how much you can carry with you, and also how many you can train. So yeah. So you can go either one way or the other. I mean, I would say this is going to be more cost effective, because basically you're just going to be upgrading the buildings and then working on your tools, making sure you always have plenty of tools, so you can always have troops going. You can have more armories than what I have, and you can level them up. I think they look really nice too. I mean, look at this one's a level 8, but the level 11 just looks so much nicer, and they get much bigger than that, as do these other buildings here. Your capacity will increase. Now, the other thing to consider if you're going, I'm going to maybe switch back and forth, but if you're considering an army route, you want to look at the ancient wonders. And really look at them. So Needles of the Tempest is one of the first ones here. Let's see if it actually lets me click into it. All right, so I could insert runes, but I'm not, this one doesn't benefit me in any way because I don't fight. But look at this, Needles of the Tempest at level 1. If I were to build it, light ranged units would be 106% increase in damage, and barrack training speed would be plus 15%. So it's awesome. So this would be one that you would want to continue leveling up. Let's see, level 3. I mean, it goes up a little bit, but the training speed 20, 22%, 25%. It is going to make a difference. Level 10 is 45%, 118%. Awesome, right? So that's going to help you. Let's look at some of the other ones. I think that's different. Let's look at this one. Nope, that's produces that, and that's, like I said, there's another video where I'm going to talk more about these. Let's see. Neighborly help, reward help chest. I'm doing that one. I'm trying to see how I like it. The Crystal Lighthouse, because I do neighborly help a lot, and I have a lot of people that help me out too. So I was like, you know what? Let me see, how that does, and I seem to get more chests, which is really good. So I like that when I'm helping out. Let's check out this one. Additional ranking points. I guess that's fine. And then culture. All right. So I haven't unlocked like a ton. There's more over here. Oh, cool. It's going to let me click it. So Dwarven Bulwark, training capacity bonus 117, production 117 of, I think that's the dancing swords person. I've seen a lot of people have this one later on. Goods, oh, see, that's why I've seen it, because that helps with goods. So a lot of these I haven't explored yet because I haven't reached it yet. I don't like to skip ahead too far, especially if it's something that is going to take forever for me to get to. I mean, why even look at it? You're just going to torture yourself. But I think the game wants you to look at it too, so you can say, oh, I want to hurry up the game, and whatever. So I'm just looking at these real quick. But yeah, so this one would be another one that could be interesting if you're a fighting nation. Production, I think those are orcs or something like that. Heavy melee units damage. So you can see how like the ancient wonders, if you build the ones that are really going to help you out, you can combine them and they can give you additional bonuses in addition to everything that you already have producing. So I mean, there's no right or wrong. There are some that love fighting, and there's obviously a lot of quests here that are going to say, hey, you need to go fight this, fight that. So if you have a really strong army, you're going to breeze right through all that. Produce advanced tools, you use enchantment spells. So let's use enchantment spells now. We can take a look at that real quick. All right, so let's, what do I need? Tools. I have a lot of these. So that doubles. Right now, this is going to double my production, which is awesome. And those you can produce in the Magic Academy, which is such a huge thing to do. All right, let's go back up. But like I said, what I chose to do early on was to work on my goods. I found that very early on I was having issues progressing. Like I needed more stone, and then I needed more planks, or then I needed this. And yeah, you can trade stuff at the beginning of the game, but if you're not in a fellowship, it's like, how do I acquire these things? So yes, you're forced to build all three of the goods. Once you join a fellowship, that's when you can really start pushing your trades. There's always going to be trades in here, even if your fellowship doesn't trade that much. It's not a good trade, but I'll take a couple of those. Actually, I'll do fellowship ones. Yeah, those are kind of crazy. Demanding 11, no. But anyways, the trade mechanism here is awesome. You can do unfair trades like 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1. I mean, it's obviously up to the other party if they're going to accept it or not. A really good thing that I recommend, and it kind of works like clockwork, is that a fair trade is basically even for even. So these are the standard goods, these are the intermediate goods, and the very difficult goods. So see how I need four more of these on the right side here. I only have 450, so let's do another possible trade. This is what I have a lot of. So usually what I'll do is you always make it favorable for the other party. So if I do, let's say 990, so they're going to get 1,000, I'm going to get 990. Now I don't care because I have so many of these, magic dust or whatever it's called. But if you want your trades to go through quicker than a 1-to-1, always give them a little extra, and those will go through much quicker. And if you have a ton, then you can make that disparity even bigger, and you'll be more guaranteed to have those go through. So actually we can look down here. Let me see if it shows. See, because I have that thing, I'm getting a relic, which is awesome. Let me see here. Wow, nobody's accepted a trade since yesterday. So let me see if there's any in here. Although I could have clicked the trade thing. But like this one right here, I offered 1,500 and they gave me 1,470. No problem. I offered 4,500. Sorry, they gave me 40. I gave them 4,500. They gave me 4,470. So I always do that. And look, at the same person accepted these two. Same thing. I always offer them a little bit more than what I request. And it's easy, and then I don't know how many people are actually paying attention to. I think if you have a fellowship where people are talking a lot, they're messaging each other back and forth, they'll start to know like what things you're going to be selling. So I know there's some cities that in the city title they'll post like the stuff that they're either looking for or what they're going to be trading out. So yeah, so if you start seeing like the same people trading you back and forth in your fellowship, start chatting with them and say, hey, you know what? I'm always going to be giving out planks. I'm always going to be giving out scrolls. I'm always going to be giving out sulfur or whatever it is. And you can always put in the group chat here, trades are up. And then they'll know. hey, this person's unloading all these things. Let's see what we can give them. Um, so that's another thing is if you're going to be a economy based thing, put trades up kind of like every day. If you're starting to accumulate a ton of one resource, when you have a little bit of time, put up trades to see if you can start leveling up some of the other ones. Because you'll notice really quickly that when you're doing this here, the Spire of Eternity, I usually do the diplomatic approach because I'm not a fighter, but I'm spending tons of resources here in addition to what you're doing here, and you're trying to get goods to the right people. It's extremely expensive for me to do this as a what do you call it? As a goods nation. Extremely expensive. So this is an area where you might want to start fighting because you're gonna, yeah, see, they're stronger than me. I can match it up well, but that's gonna be a tricky one. Um, so we'll do this real quick just to kind of show you. So I already spent all that. Now I have to choose the right resources for the right people here. Usually this is a good strategy, about 40% of the time, and then see what they don't need, and then continue on from there. Oh, I don't know. So every single resource that I'm clicking on here, I'm actually spending. So if you're going to do it the way that I'm doing it, you need to make sure you have a ton of resources. So I'll do this for a few days. I don't even go as high as I can anymore because it's just so expensive. And then if you have your alliance teammates working on it too, then that's fine. We'll just get everybody to participate, and you can kind of get somewhere. But that's extremely expensive. So even though I do have a good amount, I mean, you do a couple levels of that, and you are like run down. You need to make sure you get more resources. So that's the only thing is if you're going to do the resource catering city, make sure you're constantly keeping an eye on your levels. Like this one over here, I need to get more of those. So I'm going to do that real quick before I forget. I need to get some more of those there. So let's see. See what happens there. Oh, and I just spent those. I wasn't even paying attention. So let me do another one of these because I need a lot more of those. I was not paying attention. I need these desperately, so I'll do even a better offer. But yeah, I spend a lot of time trading. I would say every day I'm doing a couple little trades here and there. It's a good habit to have. Some of the quests are going to say, complete trades, things like that. So yeah, so that was the biggest thing that I just wanted to talk about is just thinking about that. So if you are going to do that, you need to be aware of how many buildings you're going to be doing for your resources. Like right now, I'm getting away with 6 of these, 2 of these over here for scrolls, and then 2 of these here for the magic dust. That's probably not enough, but I'm making it work, and I think the biggest reason is that some of them are pretty leveled up. I mean, I could go higher with this, but then it's going to cost people, and like I mentioned in the last video, space, population, tools, everything, there's like a balance. So never go super crazy like, oh, I got to add 5 of these, I got to add 3 of these, because it's going to really mess with your balance. So always be mindful of that. I know that when the residences get even bigger, I'll be able to get rid of some of the other ones because the jump will be so high. Same for all the other buildings. It's better to have like 4 buildings that are completely maxed than even like 5 that aren't, if that makes sense. So always look into that, because your space is such an important thing. Um, but yeah, trade. I mentioned in the last one that you want to have buildings that give you, or the ability to get other resources that are passive, like this one, 700 a day. I mean, if let's say I don't spend any of that resource in 10 days, that's 7,000 right there. So that's not peanuts, you know? So if you can find buildings that will give you passive income, um, and, just make it work for you. Because I think that's honestly how I was able to get that many stones. Because I mean, I spend them here and there, but I don't really do much with them. But I don't have anything that gives me, I already forgot what that's called, the black stones, other than this thing here. And that you have to manually click. So passive income is great. You don't have to click it. You just wait until it's done, and then you collect it, and then it keeps doing its own thing. Um, so, like I was talking in the last one, every now and again, just look through these. See, okay, which ones are passive? What is it that I could use more of? Is there a good that I'm constantly down on? Is there something that I already have or I could get that will help me? And that's where the events really come in, because a lot of the events you're going to be able to win buildings that could help, and you can, pick and choose. You don't have to play every event to the max. If all the buildings are not going to help you, don't waste all your time and goods and energy doing that. One thing I haven't talked about, but I will another time, is there's often buildings in the Magic Academy that you can produce. So like this one will give me 92 an hour. Interesting. So that's another place where you could get stuff. Magic Academy should be working every single day. You should be producing these things because you're going to need them, and you should be crafting. The cauldron's interesting. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around that. I see the benefits, but not as much as the producing and the crafting. I love doing the speed boost on here. So once again, if you're doing a lot of upgrading of things, that's awesome to have. I like to have the speed boosts on hand, especially if you're trying to, level up to the next age, or you just unlocked another level of your building. So now you can upgrade even further than where you could before. It just gives you so many more options. So yeah, use the Magic Academy if you're catering. Um, Same thing here. If you want to produce these guys quicker, you can use those here as well. But yeah, that was just that was my some quick thoughts on the two main strategies, I guess, and they're the most basic strategies. You can modify it however you want. Um, oh, one more thing. That's probably one downside to being the economic side, is that you're not gonna see from your city the two other goods, the buildings for those. And one of the best things of the game is the artwork, how amazing it is, and how everything evolves bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you're only focusing on your boosted good, you're going to miss out on that amazing artwork for the other two goods. So I guess that would be a drawback. I definitely can see that. But you can always go look at another person's city that's doing them, and you can appreciate them there. So I guess that is a drawback. But that's the only drawback. If you want to be efficient and have a ton of goods to have on hand, because goods, like I said, are going to help you progress through the game in every chapter. And as you get the guest races, you're going to have different goods, so you have to be able to figure out and manage those and make those productive as well. They're all going to bring in different goods. So you want the goods that you're producing in your own city. You want to have that solid and nailed down and have a solid system before you go into all the other stuff, because that's where you'll notice if you're really lacking anywhere. You're going to really feel it when you get into chapter 5, 6, and beyond. So, regardless of if you're economy or military driven, you still need to make sure that your economy is working well, because you're going to need it. But that was it. Let me know below which one you favor, and if you're enjoying the game, and what ancient wonders you're using, which ones you suggest recommend for players, and any feedback. Thank you. Bye.